Today's talk is the art and science of happiness. Our speaker is joining us from the Middle East, from Dubai. Meelu is our speaker, and she's a holistic life coach, a laughter therapist, and an NLP practitioner. She's currently based in Dubai, but I've known Meelu for a number of years while she was based in London. Over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aarti. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining in. I feel so wonderful to meet all of you. Yes, Aarti and I go a very long way. And what a fun ride it has been all these years. I really miss London. Can't wait for Sunday for the, Dubai to go on Amber List. And I am planning to fly in there for sure. Our topic today, the art and science of happiness. People ask odd questions about happiness. What is happiness? Where is happiness? How long does happiness last? Is my happiness the same as your happiness? These are some of the odd questions surrounding happiness. Before you answer any of these questions, and before I take you any further, I'd like to take you on a small visualization with the power of your mind. Visualize a beautiful golden canary, absolutely stunning, singing, chirping away, absolutely cheerfully. And the setting behind this canary is a gilded cage. The gilded cage is situated in a fabulous, airy room. The window of that room is completely opened. The canary's water is constantly changed, frequently cleaned, and then you have a soft pillow where the canary often sits to rest. The door of the cage is completely opened. The canary flits in, roam around the room, flits in back again, chirping happily. Just across the street, outside the window, brilliant trees, beautiful green trees, another canary was singing and staring at this canary inside the room. And this canary says to itself, "Oh, that's strange. The canary inside is as happy as I am, but then we're meant to fly and be happy. I wonder who is happier, or why is this canary as happy as I am, where she shouldn't be?" That was a thought. Change of scene. Down the road, on a misty morning, you see monks with a saffron robe chanting away in total peace and happiness. There was so much serenity in their faces. You could tell they were experiencing some kind of inner contentment and happiness. Change of scene. A very, very busy Brighton beach with many happy families running and twittering around. Now, of all the scenes, if we ask ourselves, which of these people are happiest? Or which of these people are happier than the other? Before you answer that question for yourself, when I looked up and Googled the word happiness, I found hundreds and hundreds of definitions. And I was most impressed with one, which I'm going to share with you. But before that, I discovered that in positive psychology, happiness has another name. Believe it or not, subjective well-being. That's right, you heard it right. Subjective well-being, which means happiness is subjective, it's relative. What is happy for the monks is not necessarily happy for me. What is happiness for all the people on the beach is not necessarily my cup of tea of happiness. The same thing with the canary, because a positive psychologist's understanding or name for happiness was subjective well-being. Of all the definitions that I looked up, I'd like to share this one that I found most simple and easy to understand. Happiness is just a happy feeling characterized by two things: contentment and satisfaction in your current situation. So if in your current situation you are satisfied and content with it and with yourself, well, you found your happy space. Many of you must have received a card, a well-wishing card, wishing you abundant health, wealth, and happiness, which actually means that if you are healthy, or if you have health, okay, plus the wealth is equal to happiness. If I give you an image of a triangle, what would you put at the apex of the triangle? What would it be? Is it health, wealth, and happiness? Or perhaps your triangle is inverted, which means happiness, health automatically brings wealth. Whatever it is, before you go down into that road to see which one it is and what it is, let's take this topic a little bit further. I want to explore the first idea of health and happiness. Okay, we use the word health rather loosely nowadays. Health used to denote or mean I'm hale and hearty, I'm in the pink of health, and something to do with your peak physical condition or lack of peak of physical condition. But today, the word health is loosely used in the sense like your banker will tell you your financial health is not good at all, or the socio-political condition or the health of this nation is no longer solid. So these are some of the ideas that we use the word health with. The Tokyo Olympics 2020 has a first of its kind, many firsts of its kind. Why? Because it was not the first time that the Olympics have been postponed. It's been postponed in the past due to wars, but this is the first of many, the first time ever that an Olympic is postponed because of pandemic. And it's also the first time that an Olympic is taking place in the midst of a pandemic. And it's also the first time that the Olympics is having the least number of spectators open for public. However, this is also the first Olympic, Tokyo 2021, that for the first time the platform of mental health was put into question. I cite three examples, for example, Naomi Osaka and Simon Biles, I think. Both of them world champions in their fields of athletics. Naomi Osaka was a tennis champion who opted out of the tournament, citing space for men. And she said in the interview, it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to talk about it. It brought everybody into her support of in the question of mental health. And then you have Simon Biles, who also a great contender for the US gymnast, and she also came out of the tournament citing mental health. The American team during their interview mentioned that she's going through a physical condition. But during an interview, she said, no, I am at the peak of my physical state. I just need space for my mental health. And then, of course, you have this famous British cricketer, Ben Stokes, who has announced that he will bow out of cricket indefinitely, citing space and mental health. The pandemic has brought, although it's out there all in the world, the pandemic has also brought people inwards into themselves, questioning really what is value to them. Do they value space, nature, family? And they began to question this and turn inwards. But the pandemic also brought many interesting ideas. People began to talk about boosting physical, or what you call boosting physical immunity. And I'm sure that many of you must have received several concoctions of ideas. Drink this, wake up there, see the sunlight, do this, do that. Weird concoctions and boosting your immunity health. I remember every time I run down to my local Starbucks, they always run out of the turmeric latte. Always run out. But I question myself, physical immunity, could it be connected to emotional immunity? What do you think? Is physical immunity connected to emotional immunity? For sure, happy patients heal faster, for sure. And you know, I began to recognize the science behind physical immunity and emotional immunity. Although you boost up immunity physically very easily through rest, sleep, exercise, zinc, vitamin D, you name it, turmeric. But then on the emotional side, we also binge certain news and certain articles, certain statistics that actually eat away into our own peace of mind. You may be feeling healthy and strong, but you're always running into the fear of, what if I get it? What if my family gets it? How do I fly to them? So these emotions were running together with you aiming to reach physical fitness or boosting your immunity. What's the science behind this, and what's the connection? I really, really like the holistic idea of health, because holistic idea of health speaks a lot, especially the Chinese one, speaks a lot about the correlationship between emotions and the organs of your body. And emotions, and nowadays you can see for yourself, you know, when we express how we feel, we use a lot of emojis, not words anymore. I am shocked. It's, oh my God, you too got COVID. Okay. And then if it's a surprise, or I don't know, I am sick, things like that. I am confused, or I am stressed, and how are you feeling? The emoji comes out. No need of words. Emojis and emotions. And yet you feel there's such an amazing connection between our emotions and important organs of our body. Take a look at this diagram. I'll give you a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds to screenshot this. Anger actually weakens your liver. Anger weakens your liver. Fear weakens your kidney. Grief weakens your lungs. Okay? Worry weakens your brains. And worry weakens your stomach, and stress weakens your brains. So these are the most immediate impact of emotions in our physical condition, with our physical condition. The more angry you are, obviously, in the holistic understanding of medicine, your liver will get affected. affected. If you are fearful, constantly fearful, holding it on, it's your kidneys. So this is the most amazing correlation between the holistic understanding of your emotions and your physical immunity. The next time someone makes you unhappy or takes away your happiness, I want you to say to yourself or to them, you are not worth my liver. You are not worth my stomach. You are not worth my brain. You are not worth my lungs. Oh, no, no, no. This is how important it is and how much responsibility we need to take in understanding how emotions affect our physical conditions. The other way of understanding what's the signs of happiness. As a laughter therapist, I was happy to discover that there is something that science speak about so openly, connecting the signs of happiness with us. For example, you have the idea of the happy hormones. You have the idea of happy hormones, and I call this DOSE, D-O-S-E. D-O-S-E. Dopamine, the reward hormone. Let me just share with you a bit of the picture. Here's a picture. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. These are the happy chemicals that we have in our bodies. Our body, surprisingly or not, is designed for happiness, completely designed for happiness. Today, scientists agree that if you are happy, dopamine, the reward hormones, come to you. What is dopamine and how is dopamine released into your body? Dopamine is what you call the reward hormone. When you accomplish little tasks or celebrate little wins in your life, you know, it could be clocking in your 10,000 steps. It could be running a marathon. It could be literally cleaning up your garage, which is task oriented. Any of these activities that enables you to sort of reach your goals, dopamine begins to actually come into your body. And then comes oxytocin. Oxytocin is, of course, the love hormone. It's one of my total favorite. It actually triggers from your brain into your body with appreciation. When you have a sense of appreciation with someone, then automatically the love hormones trigger. Oxytocin releases into your body. And then oxytocin is also released highest in a human's body during the time when a mother holds a newborn baby for the first time in their lives. Oxytocin is highest released during that time. Oxytocin is released not just out of appreciation, but also hug, sense of touch. And this is what was missing during the pandemic. When it was social distance, we actually took it so seriously that we went into emotional distance. There were viral scenes going around, grandmothers who design certain, long gloves, touching their grandchildren, but not allowed to get closer to them. Because oxytocin is released through hug, through touch, even a gentle massage releases oxytocin into your body. So dopamine is a reward hormone. Oxytocin is the love hormone. And then comes serotonin. Serotonin is released originally into your body when the sunlight touches your skin. So if you're sitting by a glass window and it's sunny outside and sunny in your room, you do not develop serotonin. You develop serotonin only only when the sunlight hits into onto your skin, and that's how you create vitamin D. And serotonin also comes in not only through sun exposure, walks in nature. Have you ever wondered why prisoners are always let out 1 hour, 2 hours in a day for their exercises? Yes, it's to get and to make serotonin naturally from the sun. And do you remember feeling how angry and disappointed you were when you were not allowed to go out even for an hour's walk during the lockdown, but only for essential journeys? That was probably the toughest of them all, because people recognize that sunlight, walk in nature, really the body needs to release serotonin because it is a mood stabilizer, and mood and mental health is definitely connected. So DOSE. E is for endorphins. Endorphins are the natural painkillers in the body, and it's released through any kind of exercises. Have you ever seen a marathon runner? Okay, he reaches the total goal post of it, and then only to realize that he was running on a hairline fracture. And if not that, his foot's completely blistered. Well, at that time, the endorphins kills the pain, and the runner is running on these endorphins. And don't forget, endorphins is also released in the body through dark chocolates. Oh yes, go on, get a bite. But the question is, our body is miraculously designed, scientifically designed to be a happy body because it can release all these happy hormones. But the question I ask you, and the question I ask myself, is who is ultimately responsible for this dose of happiness? You, your friend, your neighbor, the government? Just go and do it. Go and take this dose at any time of the day. Do things that you like, hear music, meet up with people that you can, that gives you great energy. Take off people of social media that you feel is giving you a different kind of energy. Do things that please you. Set up tiny goals, especially tiny goals, because the reward of achieving it allows you to reach optimum level of happiness. So take health in your hands. And now I'd like to come back to the idea of the triangle: health, wealth and happiness. Just like health, wealth also is loosely used by people. The wealth of the nation, the wealth of wisdom that you have, or the wealth of knowledge and virtues and powers that one has. But today I want to ask the $1 million question. And the $1 million question is on wealth regarding money. Oh yes, I want to talk about money because I know for sure that you cannot live on love and fresh air. And I hope that you agree with me. But before you say yes or no, here are some ideas that I'd like to circulate through you regarding money. Does money buy happiness? And we heard this since childhood, maybe our parents. Money is not everything. Money doesn't buy happiness. There are several beliefs that you have about money, isn't it? One of them is this, that it does not buy you happiness. Lots of beliefs, but I heard an Indian monk, and he was brilliant about money and happiness. He asks the congregation that was there, how many of you think that money cannot buy happiness? Raise your hands. How many of you? How many of you? And so many raised their hands. And then he looked around. He said, yes, yes. Now, how many of you still want money? And everybody raised 2 hands. There you go. There you go. He spoke beautifully about the definition of money. And he says, money is just an energy, a commodity that you utilize to add value of happiness into your life. It's just a commodity. an energy that you utilize to add value into your life. So yes, buy your Apple Watch, upgrade your insurance, travel now that you have your freedom day to travel, enjoy sights and scenes and places that you want to, but understand, can you then say that you have found everlasting happiness? Can you get the courage to say, this is everlasting happiness? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It just adds value of happiness into your life. That's all it is. And he also explains beautifully about the different concepts of money. And he says money in a marriage is a dowry, money in divorce, it's an alimony, money in a court is fine, government, it's taxes, school, it's fees, okay? In a restaurant, it's tips. And when you pay laborers, it's the wages or the salary. So money has many, many different meanings and different ideas behind it, but it's all money. And the emotion connect to this incredible energy. Sometimes you lose your health in the pursuit of wealth, and then you spend your wealth trying to get back to your health. Yes. You lose your health in the pursuit of wealth. And then when you attain your wealth, you spend your wealth to try and get back your health. That's the strange thing about money and happiness. And then I asked the question, really? We know we can't live on love and fresh air, but then who draws the line between need and greed? Do I need just one pair of sneakers, or do I need the extra 9 pairs that could make me happier? For me, maybe to get to have a one car to go from A to B to commute is all I ever want. All I ever want that would make me happy. But for Jeff Bezos, he would need all his toys. He would need the helicopter, the yachts, the planes to get on to his business. That would make him happy. So who is here to draw the line between need and greed? Here's where I love the definition of positive psychology that came up. That happiness is nothing but a happy feeling characterized by 2 things: contentment and satisfaction in your current situation. And I drew a little diagram about that. That's this. Oh yes, happiness and contentment. Happiness and contentment is laced with gratitude and satisfaction. Happy people are always grateful, and grateful people become happy people. Gratitude is an amazing power. I see gratitude in 3 different ways. One is a gratitude in hindsight. You know, when you tried so much to get a job and you didn't get the job, and then you settled in for less money. And then in hindsight, you said, thank goodness I didn't take that job. It's a blessing in disguise because I get to work out in the nature. So it's seen always in hindsight, blessing in disguise. Sometimes when great things are about to happen to you and you're receiving it, gratitude is given within sight. I can see it coming towards me, and I said, wow, thank you for your kindness, thank you for your love, thank you for your support. But then happiness, then gratitude is also given in foresight. In foresight, when you thank God in advance, and when you send an email, thank you in advance for your love and cooperation and support to me and my family, always in foresight, thanking in advance. Gratitude and satisfaction go completely together, because this too will draw the fine line between greed and need. If today you can be satisfied and say, yes, thank you for these 2 meals in a day, or this particular thing that I have, thank you for that. If you can be satisfied today, satisfied tomorrow, satisfied 4 days out of 7, you will pull in into the idea of happiness, into the emotion of happiness. And towards the end of the month, 4 days out of 7, if you ask how was August or how was July, it was very content. I was very content about it. This is how contentment is built up. And this is where you draw the line between greed and need. One of my favorite podcasts that I've been sending out to everybody, because I do have favorites on happiness every now and then, Ken Honda. Ken Honda is this Zen millionaire, a Japanese Zen millionaire, who was searching the idea of happy money. And he's written this book on happy money that has sold, I don't know, millions and millions of copies. He went around interviewing people on the idea about money and happiness. Can really money make people happy? What is this relationship between money and happiness? Go on and try and see and hear him out. His theories are brilliant. He speaks about the psychology of money that comes in through your childhood, right up to your age of adulthood. And then he discovered in his interview his mentor, Wahe Takeda. And he asked Wahe Takeda, why are you so happy? And how are you so happy and so wealthy? What's the secret behind it? And he said something, a word in Japanese that I'd like to share with you. He says, arigato, your money. He said, what do you mean by arigato, your money? Arigato in Japanese is appreciation or gratitude. Appreciate your money. Arigato, your money. And I'd like to share with you something, because we have 60 minutes and there's plenty on Ken Honda, but I'd like to share with you an experiment that I did on his technique of arigato, your money, arigato, your wallet technique. And I'm going to show it to you straight away right now, how I arrange my wallet. His idea, Ken Honda's idea of happy money is that people are only happy in receiving money, but very few people are happy in earning that money and actually giving it out. When he says giving it out, it's not just giving it to random people. He just says giving it out in terms of paying for your services. For example, I know people who earn $400 or $500 a week, a month, wherever you are in your country. And so it's a good amount of money. It's a good amount of money. But when they receive this money, they receive with pain, because they already see it. Oh, here goes my grocery. Here goes my transportation. Here goes for here. Here goes for that. So before they could enjoy and see their money and arigato their money, what they're doing is actually seeing it flying away. Ken Honda speaks something very beautiful. He says, when you sign your check to pay for your services, whether it's dental, whether it's medical, whether it's a bill that you have to pay for your electricity, be in appreciation for the services that it enables you to enjoy in life. It's because of this electricity that you get to see so many things, that you get to Zoom between us, that you get to have your hair dryer, that you get to have your electric kettle on. So if you are in gratitude, in arigato, in appreciation of that money and giving it out and bringing it in, the flow of energy through you becomes very positive. So he speaks about arigato in, which means money coming in through you is blessed. Money going out through you is also blessed. And so the energy of money that flows through you is with your blessings. Therefore, this money stays with you and is totally blessed. Are you ready for my wallet? Please don't ask me how much I have in my wallet, because to me, this is an experiment that I love to do, and it is work in progress. But here's what I'd like to share with you. I have a wallet. Don't ask me. It's a strange wallet, but I love this wallet. So here's how I arrange my money. So every month or so, I'll take out the chillers out, and then I take out my bank card or credit card. And then, of course, the happy money, the cash, all out, and put them on the table. What I will do is sort of shake away the energy of this, take the money, place them in the denomination from the highest to the lowest on the table. Oh yes, shake the energy out. I know nowadays you prefer to do everything tapping on your bank card. Why not? And you sanitize when you get your money, especially anywhere else where there's contact with money. But take a minute or two. Take a minute or two looking at this amazing commodity, this energy called money. Look at it in great appreciation. Thank you for coming into my life and bringing so much joy and happiness. Thank you for coming into my life, for giving me so much joy and happiness. So appreciate your money. The same thing with your bank card, because this is where the space of your money is kept, in the bank. Oh yes, be grateful. And when you pay for something, take a second or two to sort of give your card in this way. Being an Asian, and I come from an Asian background, I always see people when they give their business card, they always give it like this. Go to any brand shop, go to Louis Vuitton where you have lots of Asian salespersons. And when you ask them, you don't need to buy, but if you ask them, may I have your name card, please? Then what happens is they give it to you like that. This is my name card, because in that name card lies an income of commission for them. The same for your bank card. So then when you put your money back from the smallest to the highest denomination. I'd like to keep the highest one completely separate part in the compartment of my wallet, because I like to think that I have more than enough. In here, plenty to go around, but here, more than enough. It's just this feeling. And people speak about the power of the law of attraction, getting yourself into that mode of feeling good, by which you can then attract happiness into your life. A lot of people also like to, have a kind of an affirmation. And mine is something very simple. I'll read it out to you. I affirm this. It says, I always have more than enough for my needs. I always have more than enough for my needs. I carry this everywhere with me. Make sure your wallet is always in a good condition. Please do not let it be bent, torn, and tattered and feel poor and scarce and not abundant when you look at it. Oh, dear me. No. A wallet is a very powerful energy, because in here lies your income and could be connected to your happiness. I also keep a lot, wherever I have my desks, around my dressing table, my desk, a little box where I put coin, because I like to be surrounded by money. I like it. I feel I value its purpose, and my greatest joy comes in when I collect enough coins to get my turmeric Starbucks latte. Even though I'm paying the same value and the same amount, I just feel in these coins, it's free. Now in my handbag, I make sure I do not put my bills, whether any kind of bills that's money's been spent, into the money that I've kept. I keep them separate. I usually have a Ziploc where I keep all my money that the bills that I have over there, in case I need to return, in case it's anything else. But money coming in doesn't only mean money coming in terms of just the currency. It could be a coupon. It could be a coupon. Buy one, get one free. It could be anything, the next credit of this amount. This is also equally money. But here's one habit that I have, that before I discovered Ken Honda, I was already doing it, and I'd like to share with you. And Ken Honda was totally in the same sync and principle. Fortunately, he says that not only be happy in just receiving arigato your money out, but also sharing your money. Now, the idea of sharing is very subjective. Who do you share it with? What will they do with that money? That's another philosophy completely. But sharing your money can also mean giving something away to registered charity that you are comfortable with, charities that you know are performing or doing very well for the community, helping a lot in different ways. For me, I like to spiritualize my money. So when I get my money every single month to run my household, I have an envelope that's always empty in there, and I put in the first amount before I even take it out, the first amount into this, and I actually keep it aside. And towards the end of the month, I send it to the registered charity of my favorite. And this is how I multiply my happiness, not only just receiving it, looking at it, and also sharing it in different ways. I hope these are some ideas about happy money, making yourself feel happy. But now we come, oh yes, another thing, in appreciating your money. You know, I love this Louise L. Hay. Louise L. Hay speaks very beautifully about how to bring self-confidence in yourself by speaking in front of the mirror. I really love you. I really, really love you. That's also a kind of self-appreciation, because if you're waiting for the world to appreciate you, which, well, they should be generous enough to do that, but if you wait for the world to do that, and the world is very busy out there trying to get it from somewhere else, then it's important for you to appreciate yourself. And the mirror technique is great. Absolutely great. Hello, beautiful. Good morning. I absolutely love the way I am. Thank you. It's the same thing that you do with money, because that works there for self-confidence, self-appreciation. And this will work in creating a certain happiness and appreciation about your wealth. And now, the last of the last before we break into the meditation. Happiness on happiness. Here's a scene I'd like to share with you. 10 a.m. in the morning, this gentleman wears his white coat as he makes his rounds to the VIP floor of the hospital wing. He hears crying, and he couldn't understand because the operation was a great success. So why all these tears? He moves the curtain away and says good morning to his patient, and to find his patient totally downtrodden, depressed, and sad. And he says, but why? You have diabetes, the amputation was complete success. You are alive, you're good. And then the wife cries in the other corner, and she has her rosary of chants, reciting the names of God. And the children are upset. The patient is upset. The whole atmosphere totally somber. And the doctor says his bits to make the patient and the family, stabilize their moods. But they weren't hearing it. What will happen to us? What will people say? How will he go back to work? This is unforgivable. Where do we start? What will we do? All these kind of questions. And of course, the doctor was very encouraging. But he was baffled. His purpose was to save lives. And that was success. And that was a great success. And yet he was met with this. Finally, he went down to the general ward. And in the general ward, he was visiting his other patient. And this patient, another success story, this patient was completely happy. There was happiness. As soon as he drew the curtains apart, the wife jumps up with a box of chocolates and says, Doctor, sweeten your mouth. Thank you so much for saving my husband's life. And the children are saying, Doctor, how are you? Thank you so much, doctor. Thank you so much, doctor. The leg of this patient was also amputated, diabetes. The operation was a great success. And yet, the attitude of happiness, of identical situation, identical setup of family, but the attitude was totally the opposite of the other. Happiness relies a lot on your attitude. There are things that you may not like to do. There are things, because if you do what you like, then there's no question of happiness. There are things that you do not like happening to you, but the attitude towards it is what makes a major difference. Let me tell you why. You know, when you apply for a job and you send your CV and you are glowing in your qualifications, but yet at the end of the day, they want to zoom in with you or they want to meet you in person. Your CV is not enough to declare, yes, come to work on Monday, we give you this salary. Why? Why? They want to look at you. They want to see your body behavior. They want to ask you certain questions which is nothing related at all to your CV. It could be, what did you think of the American elections? What do you think of the idea of some people not vaccinated? What do you think of this theory? What do you think of that theory? Or the supermarket or the government or anything which is totally non-related whatsoever to the job qualification and application that you're there for. What were they checking you out? They were checking out your attitude, because you would be working above someone, with someone, or below someone. They are seeing how you respond well to different attitudes through the opinions and the ideas that you have, the anger and the frustration and the disagreement and your body language that you give. No. That was unacceptable. They ask you hobbies that are not even related to you. So they are checking your attitude out. And on the basis of that and your CV, that you've worked so hard, spent all your wealth on and your health on, to check whether you are compatible to work with them. So this is how important it is. On a personal note, am I always happy? 365 days of the year, 24/7? No, not always. But guess what? My happiness index is pretty high, because my tools on happiness are ready. My tools on happiness are ready. I love to hear podcasts. I love to hear YouTube on anything that creates happiness, that creates motivation to come out from the state that I am. Because with this now available to people at all levels, as long as you have Wi-Fi, there is no reason that you need to be dependent on someone to come out and search for happiness. You can give it and be responsible to give it to yourself. My source of happiness comes from meditation, because it's connected to my spirituality. And I've been doing this for almost 30 years. There are many tools out there, that Arti and Inner Space can teach you online. But the one that I use on a regular basis is something that I call the 3 R's. When something happens to me in my life, I do take a minute or two, or I do spend time in introspection. And what I do is actually go to the first R, which means I realize. I realize I shouldn't have said what I said, or I shouldn't have done what I did. I sit down in silence to realize that. I make time to realize that, to contemplate and reflect. Once I realize, I do go into a state or into a mode of regret. or repent. When you say regret or repent, you actually, it's a very strong current. Regret and repent is a very strong current. You could be in repentance for the rest of your life, or you could be in a regret mode of your life because you opened a can of worms. Do not expect to find candies in there. It is your can of worm. So you deal with it, you face it. But come out of repentance very quickly, because it is a current that will drive you down. Or this was not good too. Or this I shouldn't have done. I keep doing this all the time. I feel so bad and guilty about myself. Yes, it is going to drive you down. Because the third R is the most important R. It's called replay and reform. So sit down, bring that situation in front of you and say, given another time and space, how would I behave to this particular person? What would I do for myself? To restore options of replay. And then you adopt that one. Be very, very self-forgiving. Very self-forgiving. And then come out of that depression or disappointment to yourself. This is the tool that's always worked for me, and I literally do this a lot. But then, my dear friends, one day, if you're tired of all the positive psychology and you are tired of tools and strategies that people speak about, then perhaps it's time to kneel down in prayer and experiment your relationship with the highest being, whom we call God. Experiment and surrender, because things and miracles began to happen during these two. And really, experiment is my suggestion to you, because the science and art of happiness and science, the foundation of science is experiment. And therefore, why not experiment and see where you go? You might just surprise yourself. I'd like to wish you literally happiness, health, and automatically wealth in life. Thank you very much for joining me. Stay safe. And now we break in for meditation.
Thank you, Meelu. I'm going to hand over to Karen to do a short meditation, and then we'll be back to Meelu for questions. So don't, if you haven't already sent your question through, please do so. Thank you.
So wherever you are, just sitting comfortably. And gradually just bring your attention inside. Become aware of your breath and how you're breathing. And with each breath, be grateful for the air that you breathe. In the awareness of all that that does for your body, all that it does for your brain. Be generous with your breath. As you take some deep breaths. And as you picture that oxygen just circulating through your body, through your lungs, from the heart, just experience with gratitude And as you do, just notice how that feeling of gratitude cools and calms and soothes you. And as you become aware of each organ in your body, just allowing those feelings of calm, love, appreciation, just to flow into the organs that support you. Just letting them know with such appreciation. Thank you. And sense your organs sensing that respect. And you become aware of yourself in this relationship with your body. You become aware of yourself in relationship to everyone else, to your finances, and just creating that great sense of appreciation. For the money that you spend and what it brings, what it gives you. For the people in your life. And everything around you that's there to be shared with you. Become aware of the unlimitedness that's there for you, supporting you. It's so easy to take for granted. And let these feelings of contentment satisfy you deeply. And as you look back at your day, whatever replays itself in your mind, let your attitude be such that you look to the future and look to see what you're taking with you, whether it was a lesson learned, whether it was something that was shared that was greatly appreciated. And anything that didn't go so well, or that you would love to change. Give yourself that chance, that kindness. Thank you.
Thank you. I just need to make the announcements and then we'll go into the question and answer section. Couple of very interesting questions are coming in. So yeah. Firstly, let me tell you what's happening next Friday. Next Friday, the 13th of August, is coping and channeling frustration. And our speaker is joining us from Turkey. And when you look at what's happening in Turkey, I think he'll be speaking with a lot of experience. There are 2 seminars between now and next Friday's talk. On Tuesday, it's time management tips. And on Thursday, it's stress less and relax more. There are lunchtime meditations every day and Monday to Sunday at 1 o'clock for 20 minutes. And Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays, meditations to set up your day. So you can join us for that in the morning. There's a new Raj Yoga meditation course beginning tomorrow. So if you find some of the concepts that Meelu has been sharing today, you'll be able to explore them further in the meditation course. So those are the announcements. Please do tell friends and family about the events and bring them along with you. Secondly, if you want to make a donation, feel free, go back onto the website. There's a donation link and you'll be able to make an online donation. So those are the things that I needed to announce. Meelu, I hope you're okay to take a few more questions. So the first thing is, could you please hold up your diagram for people to look at again?
Okay, so
the one that you drew, the circle.
The circle. Yes.
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 So it's happiness, contentment, and gratitude and satisfaction in the center for everybody. The second question, Meelu, is, would you please, the documents that you held up, would you send them to us? And then I can forward them on to people. So that would be lovely. That's all the business done. So here's the first question. Our family doesn't severely suffer from depression or low moods, but generally there is a leaning towards that. And we understand that it could be in our genes. Is it possible to get out of this cycle of by using positive affirmations without meditation? Do you have any examples you know?
To come out of this melancholy?
Yeah.
To come out
of low mood. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite books or one of my favorite podcasts is Louise L. Hay. Louise L. Hay speaks a lot about lack of self-confidence or feeling low within yourself. And the journey begins by actually looking at yourself in front of the mirror every single day and saying to yourself literally 3 to 4 times, very slow, I really like you. I really, really like you. Now, the slower, the more meaningfully you say it, the more you begin to feel the words. In the beginning, it really feels odd to hear that, say that to yourself. But after some time, you'd be very comfortable. Another thing regarding melancholy or depression, or there are 2 types. One is what you call, a medical condition, clinical condition. That you need to go to someone which is more an authority on this, a psychiatrist or anywhere that can address this on that basis. The other one could be self-inflicted, based on your thoughts, the type of thoughts that you generate within yourselves. Now, affirmations, they work wonders. Now, how do you make affirmation? You make an affirmation in short sentences. The sentences should not be too long. Okay? And when you make an affirmation, you make the affirmation in a present tense. Not that I will be happy, I am going to be happy. No, I am. Happiness is my right. My journey for happiness begins now. I love being happy. This happy feeling, you're not in a happy place at all, but this happy feeling creates wonder into my body. The affirmations should be small, short, but at the same time, it should be in the present. I am happy. This is great. This feeling is good for me. I feel wonderful. Not I will be feeling wonderful, or I am well. I will be well. No, I am well. If you're taking your medicines, if you're taking your medicine and you're healing yourself, take a minute or two. And this is how I take my medicines every single day. Every single day. I look at it and I say, thank you for accepting the condition that I am in, for example. Thank you for coming into my life. You've come to bless me. You've come to help me. The body is in gratitude, receiving this and feeling more and more wonderful, healthier and healthier by the day. Many, many healthy T cells in billions are coming into my body, driving all the toxins out of the body every single day. I feel strong. I feel healthy, healthier than I have ever been in my teens. Thank you. And I take God's light, send it in here, visualize it, just like tiny rays of lights. And then I take my first medicine. And this is one of the reasons why I never have forgotten a single day taking it, because you remember the pause that you take. I know a friend of mine in a seminar who said that she was recovering from cancer and has to take many medications. And so she says, this is for this is for that, this is for that. And she said in this seminar, I look at them and I said, oh, here comes my little children. And they are going to go inside my body, into my stomach, and they are going to play for some time. And then each one will go and do the best thing for my body. I thought that was so beautiful. So there are many different ways that you can affirm. And definitely here, Louise L. Hay, she gives you step by step on how to have self-affirmation to create and elevate your mood.
Thank you. It wasn't, the person was asking, can you just use affirmations and not have medication? Or is there times where you have to have that as well?
Medication instead of affirmations?
No, affirmations instead of medication.
Oh, I think the doctor would be best to qualify in that answer. But I always say meditation, which is affirmation, meditation, plus medication is equal to miracles.
That's lovely. Okay, that is a very nice. MM equals a miracle, which is also an M. Thank you. Next question. How does one maintain happiness when under extreme distress or emotional upset?
You see this a lot when people are flying and they are very in a state of panic and they are distressed. The stewardess comes with this brown paper bag and says, breathe in, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay? And automatically through the power of breath, do not underestimate the power of breath. The power of breath is very, very calming. If you've watched people having an accident on the road and they are in a total state of shock and distress, at that time a stranger would come in and even touch, breathe, breathe. You're going to be okay. Breathe, breathe. Breath changes very quickly the biochemistry of your body. Changes completely the biochemistry of your body. and elevates your mood and changes all these hormones to come into your body, calming hormones, happy hormones. These are the power of breath is very important. And then breath comes with thoughts. You will notice that when your thoughts run like a Ferrari, 120 miles an hour, I should have done that, this should not have happened, oh my God, what should I do? I'm so worried, 120 miles an hour. Couple of deep breaths, take into the breath of 4, hold to the breath of 6, release to the breath of 8. I do this a lot. Take into the breath of 4, hold it to 6, release to 8. Do this a couple of times. Another one that I learned in yoga to do with breathing and reclaiming your happiness, your elevating your stress level, is breathing in from your right nostrils, breathe out from your left a couple of times in such sync and harmony that you do not hear your breath going in and going out. Automatically, when you don't hear it going in and going out, you are actually staying in a place of calm. And of course, use your affirmations. If you're one who believes in God, visualize that His light is always with you, on you. If you have people, or sometimes, you know what, visualize good achievements, or we call it good attainments or positive attainments in your life. Because the mind is like a filing cabinet. Really, if you open the file in 2020, the happy days of my life, and today is August, go back to August in 2020, August, September, November, December, and then go back to August, you might find a few. But here's a strange thing about the mind. When you open your filing cabinet of August 2020 and you label yourself and ask yourself all the terrible thing that happened to me in the year 2020 to now, you know what? You'd be opening so many drawers at such a speed. That's because we've trained our mind to take stock and absorb only many negative things. A simple thing is like to ask yourself, what do you like about me? About you, yourself. What do you like about you? And what do you not like about you? And you have only 1 minute. Keep an hourglass or set a stop clock and ask yourself. You will see in that 1 minute, you'll come about 10 things that you don't like about yourself and barely 3 things that you like about you. That's the speed. That's the speed of negative, unhappy thoughts compared to the speed of happy, eventful, meaningful thoughts in your life. Experiment with it and you will be surprised. And training yourself into this in moments like this, that helps you a lot. So that when your mood is down and you feel down under, you can elevate yourself by going into a happy space. Just Google it, Google search it, and give it to yourself.
Wow, thank you. All right, next question. Do you have any tips for how to cope or react when someone judges you negatively, especially when they do not know your circumstances?
One of, there is a saying, obviously, I don't know how much we practice this, never judge a book by its cover. We all say that. When a person judges you negatively, you get the vibe that you are being judged. You are being judged. First of all, are you yourself free of being judgmental towards others? Or guilty as charged, that sometimes you do tend to judge others? How should I train myself that even if someone else judges me, that I would not be sad about it? I think your behavior, your behavior is your best example. No matter how much they try to judge you, but if your behavior again and again is stable, cool, calm, and you focus on yourself, I think the other person will be pretty tired, because they would have to admit to themselves that they found it wrong. They found that this was wrong and that you turned out to be the opposite. But should I be sad because they are judging me wrong? No, no, I should not be sad. You could be disappointed, but I wouldn't go myself so down to say that I own their mind and I can make them change their mind about me. No. Work on yourself, exemplify through your behavior, and see where that goes.
Thank you. Okay. You mentioned a podcast. Would you repeat the name of the person? And do you know where they can find this podcast that you were referring to?
Yes, yes, of course. My son told me to put an app called Stitcher. And through that, you get varieties of topics on health, on happiness, on cricket, on this and that. There's plenty in there. And the one that I liked was with Ken Honda, K-E-N, Honda, like how the mobile Honda is. You don't need to go to a podcast if you don't want to and get that app on your phone. You can just YouTube him and you'll see beautiful seminars that he conducts on happy money and the idea of wealth and happiness.
Thank you. Next question. How do you change an attitude to challenges? Even when we know that the challenge is good for us, there's still a feeling of tension. And I'd like to go to flow rather than resistance.
So could you repeat that? How do you change your attitude
to challenges? We know that they're good for us, but we still experience tension. So how do we change the attitude, but also how do we go from resistance to flow?
The attitude of acceptance is very, very powerful and healing. If you want to be in sync with what is happening, if you want to be in sync, you may not necessarily have a positive thought about it. The event is very powerful. The event is, but here is the event and here is you. This is my state, and this is the situations and the events, and they're not very good. At that moment, you need to shift the balance to make your attitude positive, because situations will never change or cannot always change. Some situations are totally not in your control. When you are in a positive state of attitude, you're able to accept things faster, especially things that are beyond your control. You know, the mind is like a sponge. I give you an example. One day, I was following someone in Regent's Park. I was walking and there was a couple in front of me in Regent's Park. And the couple was squibbling between each other. And he became a bit loud and he says, you women. And he and she gave him back his bits of stuff. And finally he stopped and held her and said terrible things about her. And I was watching from a distance because I was behind them. And I was intrigued and I had thoughts in my head, in my mind. How can men talk to women like that? How dare they? What do men think of themselves? And my attitude towards him became or to men in general, became really harsh. And I remember going home and walking home with this feeling and attitude about how people should change this, how this should not have happened. Women should be able to fight for their own rights. And you name it. I went on and on about this. And my poor husband opened the door and he said, "Oh, shall we have dinner? And you know, you're a bit late today." And there I went. There I went with my bits and of ideas about, so what if I'm late? You know, that's the microwave. You can go ahead and he said, "Oh, well, hold on here, hold on. What's happening? What's happening?" All I just asked was this. So this is what happens to your mind. Your mind is like a sponge, and that sponge will soak up any liquid in its surrounding, because that's all the mind can do, soak it up. And where meditation helps is that instead of absorbing everything from everywhere and everywhere, all the disappointments, all the judgmentals, all the ideas, because your mind is a sponge, it will absorb. Instead of that, you learn in meditation to observe. You will observe, like the RRR. You will replay. You will observe your attitude. It is only in that pause, in that moment of reflection, you are able to change your attitude. Another simple example is, before you change your attitude and move with the flow, it's a training of the mind. It's like, you know, have you seen a bathtub with the running water in it? And you try to catch your reflection in it, and you want to see your reflection still, calm, with the flow. But of course, the running water will not allow your reflection to remain still. Shut the water completely, and the water stays still. And you begin to look at yourself. That is the moment you're able to change your attitude and move with the flow. That is the moment to train, the moment on the space of calm. And meditation is one of the most powerful tools of reflection, that you can train your mind to change your attitude so that you can go with the flow.
Thank you. Meelu, I hate to do this to you, but could you repeat the name of the person on the podcast?
Yes. Ken Honda. K for kite, E for elephant, N for Nigeria, and the word Honda.
Okay.
Ken Honda. You will love him. He's very nice.
All right. I think that helps everybody. Excellent. I have another question for you come through. How can you be grateful when so many things are going wrong?
Yes, I hear you. Journaling. Sometimes I do this when I'm really down. Instead of sitting down and I can't let my mind be positive and I can't let my mind be still to look at myself, I actually write. And when I write only about 3 things. 3. 3 people I'm grateful for in my life. 3 things I'm grateful for in my life. And 3 events I'm grateful for in my life. Gratitude is a state that allows you to get into the flow of happiness. Just simply write 3 things that you're grateful for, 3 people and 3 events. And when you say thank you, out of habit, out of lip service, oh, thank you, stop and say to yourself, why? Why gratitude? Why should I be thank you? Why should I be in a state of gratitude? When you understand the word, when you understand the why behind it, you will realize the value of gratitude. Gratitude releases serotonin. Serotonin is released by your brain when you are in a mode of gratitude. But where do you look for that gratitude? 3 people, 3 things, and 3 events. You are responsible to create this serotonin into your body, because the body is miraculously designed for happiness. happiness miraculously.
And one final question. Have you ever been in a place where you couldn't reflect back and feel gratitude? And if at that time, what did you do to get back to a space of gratitude?
Yes, yes. I had been in a place where I just say to myself, how can I be thankful for this situation? I don't deserve it. I had many days of wet pillows in which but then when I came to term with it, when I came to term to the point of acceptance, remember, acceptance is very, very powerful. It's either acceptance or resistance. You can resist to the point of no return. But the moment when you begin acceptance, resistance stops or opposition stops. It is at that moment that you actually are in a state, okay, why should I be grateful about this? What would this mean to me in my life? When you begin to think of that and you begin to write about that, you realize that the episode or the event that happened to you in your life was actually a blessing in disguise. It's not a death sentence. It's actually the sign of your longevity. It is taking control and taking your life into your own hands, holding on all the emotions, saving all the sense organs that you possibly can. It is the moment of control, not the moment of despair. That was my personal experience.
Wow. That is breathtaking. I'm going to say, Meelu, thank you so much. You have been transparent. You have been open. You have shared your personal experiences. You have also looked at the subject in areas that I would never have thought of thinking about. So thank you, really, thank you very much.